one thing you were saying about these kids and school. I've worked as a Montessori teacher for 10 years, and it gets back to this this anecdote of the father complaining, "I can't understand my son. I can't understand my son. He just won't listen to me. I can't understand my son. He won't listen to me anymore. I can't understand my son. He won't listen to me anymore. Oh, I thought if you wanted to understand him, you should listen to him." And just silence. Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, I've seen another anecdote also, which is, I can't understand your son. You have to talk to him. Because when he doesn't work, it's not your son anymore, it's her son. And then when he wins the championship, it's your son, right? Look how proud I am when my son made it to the finals. So I remember my father did that several times. When we screwed up, you know, he could come home and say, "See what your son did?" He could tell my mother, and I would think, I'm not his son anymore. You know what happened? So yeah.
So actually, Brendan is wearing this bracelet with the "Be More Interested" on. I think you're still wearing it, right?
That's every day.
Be more interested.
Yeah, it's just something that this is actually like, it's one of the, I have like 3 armbands, and it's like the sort of the only 3 things that I follow that, and it's something that I teach my kids. So I say to my kids every day, it's like, I say, there's one that's 8 and one that's 12-year-olds. And this morning, the 8-year-old, I said, "Hey, remember at school, be," and she finishes the sentence, "more interested." And I think that we have to give more kids the actual tools on how to be more liked at school. I think we have to teach them communication skills. I think we have to teach them how to get friends. And how to get friends is this idea of asking your friends, like, "So what did you do yesterday? And what was that like? And what was fun?" And teach these kids like really, really simple techniques that I didn't learn until I was about 30 years old. And I meet still some 40-year-olds that haven't learned these techniques. It's like, you know, if you want to be liked in a circle, it's like you should be a little bit more interested. And then I mean, everybody knows the opposite. We know these colleagues that we meet at the Christmas parties, and it's like, "I got to tell you all about my life." And it's like 45 minutes later, they're still going on. So.
Yes, but Marco, I have been listening to your one of your webinars, or it was on the YouTube, but you have been talking about the same about your Sarah, was that her name, and she was coming home complaining. Can you tell that story?
Well, yeah, it was one of the first days after she started in school, because she was never complaining when she came home from kindergarten, because we were always having conversations about what she did that was nice for other people, which is the question that I'm inspired of asking after how my father helped me focus and refocus through sports. He used to ask me 2 things. He asked me, "How did you make your team better?" And he asked me, "Are you proud of your own effort today? Did you give it all?" And those 2 questions were fundamentally the only questions he asked me through the whole of my career. And I ended up playing national team basketball top division, and so did my brother. So he had 2 out of 3 sons who took it all the way up to the elites. And he never asked us about the results. He never said, "Did you win?" Or he never asked me how many points I scored, which is the most asked question in a sport conversation between parents and kids. How did the game go? Did you win? And that's the question he never asked, because he wanted us to focus on all the more important stuff than the results. But my mother never, she wasn't really aware of what she did by asking, "How did it go? Did you win?" And if I said no after I already lost the game, but I wasn't really down, because my father was always good at picking me up, saying, "As long as you gave it your best and you was a good teammate, I'm proud of you. You should be proud of yourself, and you can always have that as a what do you call it? The trøstepremie, comfort. You know, that's your comfort after a loss. You can be proud of your effort and being a great teammate, which is the main reason of playing sports." And so I would come home feeling pretty okay about losing, because I played a good game and I did what I could to help my teammates and support them. And then my mom would ask, so how did the game go? Did you win? And, you know, they get the first downer because of the focus of what my mother asked me. And this is the power of questions. So then I would say, no, we lost. And then she could see on my face that I was down. And then she would try to pick me up by, you know, asking me, but did you at least score? You know? And then it was like, no, another no, because now the shame is complete, you know, because you never lived up to what she expects, because that's what I thought she expected. But what I didn't know was that my mother just tried to be interested, and she couldn't care less if we won or lost. She just wanted to show me that I want to know how your life was. So this is what parents do, I think. They ask questions without being aware of what they do with the questions, how it affects the kids, and how it makes them focused and refocus on what you think is important for those grown-ups. And she would also sometimes even tell my grandmother and uncles, ask him how the game went this weekend. He scored 3 goals, you know, and she would not, you know, not be aware of what I, as a kid, understand is important for her, is those goals and to win. So when I came home, I would tell her, you know, we won today and I scored 2 goals, because that's what she's interested in. So I would start telling her what she wants to hear. But my father wasn't interested. He would never know if I scored or won, because he was not interested in that. He was interested in, how did I play my teammates better? What did I do to make them feel better, or you know, be a better player? So even after 18 years of top division basketball, winning 5 championships, winning the series several times, he never asked me, and he never even congratulated me with those medals, because for him it wasn't about being a good player, it was about being a good human being. Because his background is military, and he has been fighting in the Middle East for 10 years. And the reason he survived 10 years of battle is because his teammates made sure he survived. And that's why for him, the team is life or death. And it's very important to be a good teammate. So, yeah. So that's why
this idea of the power of questions, that's something that me and Guy, we work a lot with teams on this, and this idea of what can you be proud of in the team, and what can you be proud of what you deliver to the team. That's something that we do a lot on. Like, we do a lot of workshops on questioning skills and how to be better at asking questions to yourself, and how to be better asking questions to the team and to the customers. And it's this very simple tool that we can help people to discover, like, how do we ask like good questions? And one of the things that we get is like people like guys like us to come onto the course, and it's like, you know, it's like 88% of men drivers think they're way above average. It's like, and it's almost the same with questions. It's like, there's so many questions. I've been asking questions all my life. I don't need that training. You know, and even some of these questions, these reflective questions, I mean, Guy, one of these, this idea of being proud, like we talk a lot about that with teams.
Oh yeah. Now there are several levels of being interested. One is just you know, as your mother being interested. Then there is the next level up is like your father being interested. Yeah. But a tip for a mother like yours would be to, when she sees that your emotion drops, she asks the question, "Did you win?" And then you go, and you can see that there is something happening, and there's a negative happening, you know. What she could do, if she leveled up to level 4 fighter in Dungeons and Dragons, she would go, I can see that your emotion dropped. Why did that happen? Be enough interested to really figure out and ask the kid, what just happened there? I can see that you were happy and then you were not so happy. What happened? Well, you know, I didn't live up to your expectations. So what do you think my expectation is? Well, that we win. Aha. So that's what happened. You see, you can just borrow down to really finding out what really happened. And people are too timid and too scared about asking about emotions. And especially the emotions that are happening right in front of them, right when you're talking. It's like, okay,
especially
I can
the
see
negative ones.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I can see that you're shutting up now. Why? What happened right now? Well, you said blah, 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 and I think you meant so, so, so. And I said, oh, that's interesting that you thought I meant that. Let's have a discussion about that. So talking about emotions in the moment is something that is rarely done, but should be done.
This is back to Norwegians, that if you ask a typical Norwegian, like, what are you feeling right now? They don't give you a feeling. It's like, oh, this is a strange thing that's happening right now. That's not a feeling. This is really difficult for me. That's not a feeling. But like, what are you feeling right now? And there's very few men that would say, I feel hurt. I feel emotionally hurt.
But Marco, can you give? I want to, because I heard you talk about your daughter. She wasn't invited to play with two girls. But she picked up the teacher, and I think that was in right now. If you can tell that story.
Yeah, I will do that. I was just wanted to listen to those feedbacks. It was really good. But Guy, the reason my mother wasn't able to ask me that is because I think most parents want to help their child not feel bad as quick as possible. So they look for a way out. So she would ask, but did you at least score to try to lift me up? And then when I said no again, she would finally say, you know what, today you deserve to decide dinner. So, that's how you try to make your son feel better instead of talking about the emotions. And I think most parents, they'd rather help you find another emotion as quick as possible so that you don't feel down, instead of asking what happened or why do you feel down. And I think that's why most guys, especially boys, grow up in a world where they don't really know how to recognize an emotion because nobody told them how to, put words to the emotion. So if I'm sad and angry at the same time, nobody has told me that that's normal. And it's because sometimes you mix sadness with anger because that's easier to handle, etc., etc. And I think that's why you have a lot of violence between guys more than girls, because they are just somehow taught that men don't cry, men don't feel, just overcome, just fix it, don't talk about it. And that's the culture I think we need to, break and help, especially boys, to start recognizing their own emotions. So back to the story about my daughter. She came home after a few days in school,